What do you think of political correctness?
I wouldn't say that there's specific social rules in particular for people with disabilities, just, like there's social rules and stand by them. I don't see why there has to be, a division.
I think it's important for people to understand that words can hurt, and that's why political correctness came about in the first place.
Everyone has different upbringing, different education, different family background, different sense of humour, different everything, so it is not surprising to me that everyone has a different take on what rocks and what doesn't rock in terms of, description of disability.
You can be too PC about it. I think, PC has almost made disability kind of something really difficult to associate with, that it's just this big, broad, scary thing that you have to be so careful about it, and in fact it's just about people.
There's so much terminology about there. I myself don't even know what is politically correct anymore.
Being PC in a way is not important, as long as the right attitude is coming through.
People, especially when they're talking about having difficulties, they aren't sure what label to put on it. They kind of stumble.
Sometimes I'm really heartened to hear people who maybe are not used to encountering people with disabilities, or maybe from an older generation or whatever, who do use appropriate language.
I went to a few big trade shows over the last 2 years that were in the States. The kind of PC language they use, it almost obscures the disability so that you don't actually know what they're talking about.
And I think people can actually create more barriers by being so obsessed with political correctness, and for that very reason I don't like it.
I think there is a balance to be found in between being politically correct and using the right language, but I think people shouldn't be afraid about saying the wrong thing or asking questions.
I would often hear people saying, mind the man, to their kid. Mind the man, rather than mind the blind man. And I think that's really good, actually.
Just talk to people as people, and whether they have a disability or don't, and, keep it open.
What role does humour play?
I think humour is really important in any aspect of life, not just in having a disability.
Humour is so important when it comes to disability.
Very strong tool in terms of helping people, talk about things, understand things, and break down those barriers that those perceived barriers that we think are there that aren't.
I'm very proud of the fact that I have more lines around my eyes from laughing than frown lines around my face.